Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, and drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with anybody that might get something out of it. How is everybody today, guys? I'm thrilled. I had a good day, guys. After I did my video yesterday, I mentioned I was still going back out to look at a heating issue at my brother's house, and then I had one call after the other coming in because we had that nasty cold and windy snap. I was out till 10 o'clock last night, which is not what I'm used to doing lately. But again, in emergency weather like that, I am responsible for the buildings that I manage. And it was just one of those things with the shit hit the fan basically with the weather. And none of my buildings that I manage, but customers that I take care of, and I put in on a bunch of stuff that needs to get done so this doesn't happen again. I woke up this morning. I was barely halfway through saying my prayers, and my phone was already ringing off the hook. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. I'm like, again, I stopped the second I started to feel that anxiety. And I'm like, no, I'm only going to do what I can do. And I'm not going to go and get all stressed out about it. I'm not going to let anybody get me out of my game. And I finished saying my prayers. And that was the thing, guys. When I pray, the answers just come. So when I was done with my prayers, I returned the phone calls that had come in. I scheduled a very full day, and I was like, you know what, it's probably going to be a late day. I probably won't get to to everybody, but I'll do the best I can. And guys, you know what? Starting the day off in the right frame of mind, I was amazing. I did things in a big loop like I like to do. I tried to pick up the right parts ahead of time, extra stuff when necessary, and everything went amazingly well. Amazingly well. I got everything done. I made a boatload of money. Like the confidence in knowing I do a good job, and customers know they're lucky to have me there. They weren't, and I wasn't gouging anybody. I was still cheaper than most people would, but I banged out a lot of work, and I made a lot of money, like a shocking amount of money for a 24-hour period, guys. It felt really good. And here I am, 5:30 at night. Everything's done. A bunch of extra stuff that came in. I went and helped my neighbor out. Like I got everything done, and I feel amazing, guys. It's the beauty of recovery, guys. It's amazing. I'm able to see, pitfalls and avoid them, and I'm able to see where things typically go wrong, and not have to worry about it. And I'm able to recognize with where the smoke before it becomes fire, because you know what they say, guys. Where there's smoke, and that's the reading today. Actually, where there's smoke, where there is smoke. Complacency is the enemy of members with substantial clean time. If we remain complacent for long, the recovery process ceases. Recognizing complacency in our recovery is like seeing smoke in a room. The smoke thickens when our meeting attendance drops, contact with newcomers decreases, or relations with our sponsor aren't maintained. With continued complacency, we won't be able to see through the smoke to find our way out. Only our immediate response will prevent an inferno. We must learn to recognize the smoke of complacency. In recovery, we have all the help we need to do that. We need to spend time with other recovering addicts because they may detect our complacency before we do. Newcomers will remind us of how painful addiction can be, and our sponsor will help us remain focused. Our sponsor will help us remain focused. And recovery literature kept in easy reach can be used to extinguish the small flare-ups that happen from time to time. Regular participation in our recovery program will surely enable us to see that wisp of smoke long before it becomes a raging inferno. The affirmation is, just for today, I will participate in the full range of my recovery. My commitment to recovery is just as strong today as it was in the beginning of my journey. And guys, I love the timing of these readings, man. It's amazing when you work the program. Like I've been talking about my journey like all week long, guys. And again, one of the reasons I'm succeeding today is because my commitment today is just as strong today as it was in the beginning, if not stronger. I constantly buy more, buy in more and find more ways to expand my recovery instead of saying, oh, well, I've gotten this out of that, I've gotten this out of that. I just recently found out where there was an NA meeting I used to attend on Friday nights, and it was actually one I found when I was living on the street, the lowest of my low, and I was in a really bad place, and somebody just needed time to kill before they could help me out, so they dropped me in a meeting. And I heard something that caught my attention. I went back the following week, and that was when I got arrested, and I asked the judge to put me in jail for 6 months, and that was 10 years ago or 8 years. It was back in late 27, no, early 2017, because I got out of jail late in 2017. So that was back in 2017 when I started that recovery run. But again, even having like that meeting, and I did start going to that meeting for a while. I didn't work a recovery program. I didn't pay attention to the pitfalls. I got into a relationship. I stopped going to meetings, and lo and behold, I ended up going back out on a run that lasted 8 years and damn near killed me, and cost me everything I had managed to put together again. So I'm able to see that today, guys. That's complacency. Complacency is a dangerous, dangerous thing, guys. As soon as we start thinking we know everything, or we've got this, or we don't need meetings, I don't need to listen to so and so, and bad things start to happen. I'm seeing it with somebody that I care deeply, deeply about right now, and it's a shame. It was terrible to watch, and it's still painful to watch. It was somebody who gung ho for 3 weeks, and I was, and I was so excited for it and so happy to see it, and then just, it was one decision after another, and it started with, I can't make that meeting today. I got to go get a free something here, and then it was, I don't want to go to church this weekend because I got something else. And that's, guys, it's okay. You're going to have something come up here and there, but you make up for it. You schedule the next meeting. You go find a night meeting if you can't miss the day meeting. You gotta do something. Because, again, you got to learn. I talked about this so many times. You got to learn to pivot, but you've got to keep recovery first. Because, again, particularly when you're only, a few months in, if you don't keep recovery first, guys, you're going to lose everything else. And it may not happen overnight. I managed to, keep things going after I stopped going to meetings. Even though I was using behind people's back, I was still showing up at work. But again, it was only a matter of time. And even, showing up at work, I went from stacking money in the bank and making good decisions and building a recovery network to running around with a girl and spending all my money on the girl. And then, one next thing you know, it was paycheck to paycheck, and then going to debt, and then hiding drug use from the girl, and just life fell apart, and I ended up right back to I was about to be back homeless on the street when I came into recovery this time around. But guys, none of that has to happen if you work your recovery program, and the most important thing is building a recovery network, so that, again, like the reading says, if you don't see your complacency, because we don't always see it, guys. The old equation of, if you put a frog in boiling water, he'll jump out. But if you put him in cold water and slowly warm that water up to boiling, he'll sit right there and get boiled to death. Well, it's the same for us, guys. If we, we might notice something major, but if we slowly start getting complacent and stop working our program, then we're going to, think we don't need this. And then, we do that once or twice and nothing crazy happens. So, you might let something else go, and you might let something else go, and you might let something else go, and then before long, you don't have a recovery program at all. And at that point, left to your own devices, old behaviors, old thought patterns, old traumas that haven't been resolved yet, or any of these things, and boom, suddenly using or drinking starts sounding good, or you might have one drink and nothing crazy happens, so you think you can have two next time, and da 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 da. As we've heard. Go to any meeting and you'll hear these stories over and over again. I listen to guys every week that, tell me they had 14 years, 20 years, and they stopped going to meetings, and little by little, and next thing you know, they had a 7-year run, and now they're starting back over again, and those are the lucky ones. I know for myself, guys, the way that I use drugs, I don't think I would survive. If I didn't have my Sublocade and I went out and used, I'm going to overdose and die. I know that, guys. If I go back out and relapse, it's going to cost me my life, and I'm not willing to do that today. I wasn't willing to give up my life when I didn't have one worth living. Today I do. Not that it's easy and not that it's glamorous or anything like that, but, guys, it gets better and better because I have choices. I have stability. All these things I didn't think I'd ever have. I didn't think I'd ever be, facing success head on and, working my way right into it and constantly feeling or knowing that things continue to get better and better in my life instead of always waiting for the other shoe to drop or feeling like my imposter run could only last so long. I've been able to replace all those terrible negative feelings and emotions with positive ones. And again, and the thing of it is, guys, I still make mistakes. I still get into situations. I still, one of my positive traits and things that can get me in trouble is I see the good in everybody, and I'm willing to bank on it, guys, because that's something I have compassion. I love to see the underdog come up. I love to help somebody out. I like to, I like to be a part of that. So I will occasionally overextend myself. And fortunately today, that doesn't have to be the end of the world because I've got the resources, and when faced with a situation like that, I will cut ties as soon as it gets to the point where, okay, you've crossed that line where you've taken your will back and you're not working a recovery program. And again, I won't do it mean. I'll be honest and tell you, listen, you need, please do better, or go get help, or if you do relapse, go get back into a program. But you're not going to come knock on my door and say you're going to, dry out or detox in my house, because no, like that's not this. I don't have, this isn't a detox. This isn't a rehab. This is my sanctuary, you know what I mean? And I can't open that, no matter how bad that would hurt to say no. I'd have to do so. Situations never come up, man. I don't expect it to, but again, I know full well I will. I've already seen it play out, and again, as soon as I understand, and I give anybody the benefit of the doubt, guys, but when I see smoke, I'm automatically on guard, and I'm going to start looking at every little situation to see, is this a wisp of smoke, or is this a small fire starting to flare up? And if it is, then I will extend, and I will offer, things that I've learned in my recovery network, and try to help you work yours. But if you ignore them and it starts to flare up, then I'll tell you the first thing I'm doing is getting it removed from my life, because I'm not letting your inferno take my life out. I got to worry about my own infernos, and one of the biggest things I love that the reading said, keeping recovery literature ready at hand helps you put out the small flare-ups. That's a statement I would have laughed at any other point in my life. And yet now, because I do recovery literature every single day to make a video on, and I make content on that every day, I have it at hand, and it does allow me to put up these flare-ups. And the thing of it is, guys, when you can quickly put up these little flare-ups in a positive way, you free up all that energy that I used to take struggling back and forth and having to go the long way around this. Now I'm able to cut it out and knock it out before it becomes a problem, and it allows me to continue focusing on moving forward. And that's been a huge difference. That's been a big guiding principle for me this whole year, is I haven't really spent any time hung up on any one thing. It's been a fairly fast, steady progress throughout the year, because I've been able to confront things as they come up, learn the lesson that I need to, because by making good decisions and seeing them for what they are, and then putting them behind me and not dwelling on them. Like, I literally feel like sobriety has become my superpower, guys. It's amazing. Like, and again, and it's not, it's miraculous, because God has done, has manifested miracles in my life and in other lives around me, through me, which I'm honored, guys. So, it's one thing I used to say in my prayers all the time: God, you're the miracle worker. Let them be the miracle. Please allow me to be the conduit through which you do your good work. And I got to start saying it again, because I really like that. I love the idea of me being a blessing in somebody else's life and making a difference in somebody else's life. That just makes me feel good about who I am. But at the end of the day, my first and main focus is on any smoke that appears in my field of vision in my life, and making sure that I address it immediately, so it does not become a small flare-up, and certainly doesn't turn into a raging inferno. It's no different than if I was driving down the road, the highway, in my pickup truck, and I suddenly smelled gas coming from my engine compartment. Well, I'm not going to floor it and hope that, the wind's going to blow it out. No, I'm going to pull over and see if I have a gas leak, and is it dumping on the manifold, and is it on an electrical wire, is it going to catch fire? Like, I pay attention to these things today. It's the same way I would with a physical situation like that. I do with my spiritual condition, my mental condition, my physical condition. That's why I continue to go to the gym, and again, I get such a good feeling. It's taken a lot. In the beginning, it was just hard work, but I knew it was important, and I knew I needed to overcome, the weakness and the abuse I put myself through. But this is the longest I've continued going to the gym in my life, and here I am 11 plus months in, and I'm absolutely blown away by the weights that I'm putting up, the attention that I get. And it's not about attention, but it's for myself, proving to myself that every time I set a goal, and that's the thing, I don't have any. I have next step goals, but I don't have put a cap on it anymore. Like before, I thought if I could, if I could get to bench press 300 pounds, that'd be the top of the hill. And then I got there, and I'm like, no, let's keep going. And now I'm at 350 and 355, and I'm working my way towards 400 or 405 will be quadruple plates. And I know I'm gonna get there, and I don't have a time limit. I don't care if it's July. I don't care if it's next December. But I know I will get there, and I'll be happy to get there. Guys, there's one more spot in my tape of coins coming up, man. Under 3 weeks, I get that 12-month, a 1-year chip, and oh, am I excited for that, guys. I get to raise my hand in a meeting, and again, but I've only gotten there, and I will only get there. I haven't gotten there yet. I can't take credit for that yet, because if that's when I would make a mistake, and as obvious it is to me that I will get there because I'm making good decisions, it's not guaranteed. It's contingent upon me making a good decision every day from now till then, and then moving forward so I can get the 2-year, and then the 3-year, and then the 4-year. And I hope when I get to my 10-year, I'm still sitting in a meeting regularly, weekly, saying, boom, okay, I've stacked this many, 24-hour periods behind me. Like, there's no bigger honor. And talk about, we got to have gratitude as we go. I'm so grateful to be able to make that statement today and not be bullshitting and not be, trying to teach myself or fool myself. Like, I love my program. I love my meeting. I love my recovery network. I love the life that it's affording me. Guys, when I first started this, my 5-year goal was to own property so that I could be a millionaire, at least on paper, equity or whatever. And now, like, again, God's shocking me with what's possible. I'm now committed to owning my first $1 million property before the end of 2026, and I'll get there. I'm already almost 3/4 of the way there now. And that's amazing to me, guys. I had a goal, not early on because I was way, way over and above, but I had a set, I think back in October when I realized the amount of money that I was putting aside every month, and then realizing how much it was increasing every month, I set a soft goal of, well, I don't like throwing, but I'll throw it up. I set a soft goal of $60K in my bank account by year's end. And I'm like, well, if everything progresses, and things continue to pick up, then maybe, yeah, there's a good chance I'll get there. Guys, I'm gonna get there. Like, it's a done deal. Like, and I could pretty much take the week of Christmas and New Year's off, and I'd still get there. Like, I'll be there this week, and that's amazing to me, guys. But it's only because I make good decisions today, and I've continued to stack good decisions. And that's the thing, I make so many good decisions now that the bad ones just get filtered through, and I chalk it up to learning experiences, and then I make them exactly that. I learn from the mistakes I make today instead of repeating them. And now I'm able to look back on it, and not with any, hatred for myself, but I look back and it shocks me when I realize the length of time that I continue to repeat the same mistakes, and then I'm wondered why I didn't even bother. I wouldn't even be introspective enough to wonder. I just accepted. And that's terrible, guys. I don't accept anything that's not for my highest good, isn't moving me forward, or not by my choosing. I don't have to today. That's the gift to recovery. One of the many, many gifts to recovery. But guys, it's incredibly important to watch out for smoke, because, where there's smoke, there will be a fire if it's not treated. And we have all the tools at our disposal to treat that smoke before it becomes a raging inferno. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.